What's up, my friends? We're in the final big section, Colorless, of the Modern Horizons 3 complete set review. Every single card, constructed, limited. We're going to have the awards you know and love, Best in Show, Sleeper card, Bombin Common, and Trap card. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you missed any of the episodes here, boom, they're all on YouTube. All right, white, blue, black, red, green, colorless, it's all on there. Check it out. Please leave a like on each video if you can. Support the content because that really helps out a lot, honestly. Reminder, of course, we have Bronze Mythic, 10 New Brews tomorrow and Friday. Historic and Timeless on Arena is on Wednesday and Modern on Friday. Check that out, of course. Lots of fun. Also, my birthday tomorrow. I'll turn freaking 40, which is ridiculous. Bronze Mythic will start next Tuesday on the release of the set. I'd be a lot of fun also. And that's going on, folks. So, we're getting right to it. We're getting to the Eldrazi. We're going to wrap it up. But first, real fast, got to talk about this Kickstarter right here. All right. Evoke the Art. They make phenomenally awesome tokens. They're on my desk here. Here we are. They're right there. Make really, really awesome tokens. Just a fun little, Kickstarter, small little company. Make these awesome tokens. Satin finishes are super, super nice. And they're making a special version of their token set, which is going to include me. Pretty awesome, right? Awesome Goblin Shaman token. And then they're also going to have playmats on there as well. Metal tokens. A bunch of other perks as well on the Kickstarter. They're launching this Friday. Use the link in chat. Check them out. And you get the link there. You can go bookmark it or whatever. There'll be a lot of really nice perks for early adopters. So check it out. Really awesome. It's like satin finish. Really high quality stuff. Check it out. Not some big company. Just a dude named Zach who wanted to make some cool tokens. And he's doing some really cool shit. So check him out. And let's do it, all right? So, let's get right to our set review. It's Eldrazi time with Breaker of Creation. Colorless 6 uncommon. Remember, all you Zoomers, that needs to be cast with a specific colorless mana. It's almost like a 6-color sort of. You cannot tap a plains for that. It's got to be a colorless source of some kind, making that symbol. So, big card for limited. The blue-green archetype is all about playing big dumb Eldrazi's and ramping into it. This is a great thing to ramp into. 8/4 for 8. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each colorless permanent you control. Don't forget, folks, your lands are colorless. So if you cast this thing with 8 lands in play, that's 8 life right there. It's a huge stabilizer. And then you get to attack with it, Annihilator 2. Also has hexproof from each color as well, so they can't kill it that easily. They gotta block it. So big, powerful boom. That butt's a little small. Definitely skip leg day here, but really powerful card. Great card to ramp into. Could possibly be a card for ramp decks in constructive formats if they want to gain a bunch of life. Probably not, but definitely a good limited card. Almost like a blue-green gold card, basically, because it wants to be in that one deck, but very, very powerful. Next up is Devourer of Destiny. No awards here, but 7 mana, double colorless Eldrazi 6/6. You may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, at the beginning of your first upkeep, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You put one of these cards back on top and exile the rest. That is a lot to take in. All right, so these sort of pre-game effects are really, really powerful. Think Once Upon a Time, think Chancellors, or whatever else. That being said, the opportunity cost is quite high, right? You have a 7-drop in your hand, maybe you can't cast it, whatever else it might be. Then when you cast this thing, you exile target permanents 1 or more colors. So, feels like an awesome card for Tron, right? Where I want a Tron, I'm going to mulligan off my Tron lands, and then when I get 7 mana, this is a perfectly reasonable thing to cast, which is kind of cool. Is Tron good right now, though? There's also some good cards I've set against Tron, which is kind of an issue, too. Are there other big rampy decks that might want this? I don't know. Eldrazi Temple, maybe. Also kind of cool is that you exile the cards. A card like Eternal Scourge could be a card that, you play at exile, kind of cool also. So, this is a wild one. I don't know how this card's going to play out. This is the kind of opportunity cost card where, is it worth a card to do this in your opening hand? Are you okay not being able to play it? Are you okay pitching it to a card we'll see a little bit later? I don't know, honestly. This is one of the weirder cards in the set. Crazy card. Crazy card. Breaking the rules of the game in a lot of ways. We will see on this one. In limited, very good if you're ramping. Obviously, just a 6/6 that kills the thing is great. But yeah, one of the more intriguing cards of the set. One of the bigger question marks, too. Up next is Drownyard Lurker. Kind of a blue card, but kind of not. 7 mana for a 7/7 vigilance. Pretty huge. Whenever you cast or cycle this card, make a Scion token at a cycling blue 2. So this is like your, blue-red. I'm playing blue-red. I'm ramping to Eldrazi. This can be, a spawn plus a card or a big thing later. 7/7 vigilance is pretty huge, pretty solid. Pretty good common. Nothing more than that, really. Echoes of Eternity. Kindred returns. Tribals have renamed to Kindred, which is a good change. And this is a Kindred enchantment that is colorless 3. It's an Eldrazi. As if a triggered ability of a colorless spell you control or another colorless permanent you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Or if you cast a colorless spell, copy it, and may choose new targets for the copy. This is a really, really powerful card, obviously. Sort of Panharmonicon plus. That being said, your setup card can't really cost 6. Like, that's just a little too much.
You ain't worth spit.
So, I don't know. Feels like more of a commander card, kind of a go really big kind of card. Is what it is. Wouldn't play it limited either, so let's moving on. Eldrazi Ravager. 6 mana for a 6/6 Annihilator 1. That's great. Sacrifice 2 Eldrazi to return the Eldrazi Ravager from your graveyard to your hand and cycling 2. This is a banger limited card. Obviously, there are Eldrazi Scions. Scions or Spawns? Spawns, sorry. Spawns everywhere. And you can sacrifice those to bring this thing back. You can cycle it. You can cast it. 6 mana for a 6/6 Annihilator 1's awesome. So make sure you have colorless mana in your deck. And this card's freaking awesome. Great limited card. It's a banger. Emrakul, the World Anew.
It's a trap.
I'm calling trap on little Emrakul here. All right. 12 mana for a 12/12. Whenever you cast this spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. Flying, pro spells, and pro permanents that were cast this turn. Closes that Oblivion Ring loophole, right? When it leaves the battlefield, sacrifice all creatures you control. Madness, 6 colorless. I wish you just had 6 colorless symbols, personally. Whatever, it's me. There was a lot of hype about this card when it was first revealed. Obviously, 6 mana for a 12/12 is pretty insane. That being said, it's kind of hard to madness this thing. Casting it for 12 is pretty difficult also. Some decks don't care if you take their creatures. Maybe they don't have any creatures. Maybe they have a ring in play, and it's a fairy, and you take their solitude. Whatever, who cares? So, don't think this card really does much of anything. Maybe it finds a home somewhere, but the amount of hoops and caveats this card has are just so numerous. It seems very, very difficult to imagine what a deck that wants to play this card would even look like. It is powerful. If you can reliably madness it, sure, but I think poor Emrakul was the third time's not the charm. The first Emrakul's bangers. This Emrakul, not so good. The World Anew. And then in limited, it costs 12 mana, but if you're ramping, great. There's a lot of ramp in blue-green. The blue-green decks sort of look like Rise of the Eldrazi, where it was certainly reasonable to cast 12 drops. So, yeah. Emrakul, not so good, unfortunately. That's my trap card for the set. And kind of bummer. Glaring Fleshraker's next. 2 mana for a 2/2, noting the colorless cost, of course. If you cast a colorless spell, create a Scion token. Whenever another colorless creature spawn. Sorry, spawn. Come on.
Whoopsie.
My bad. Whenever another colorless creature enters the battlefield under your control, this deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, if you have some way to loop, this is kind of like another unbounded combo card. If you're looping a Mirror Retriever or whatever somehow, and you're getting a mana, if you have 2 Mirror Retrievers and a way to reduce the cost to 1, this is an infinite loop. Each kill them. There's probably better combos than that. But I'm saying off the top of my head, this is just an unbounded kind of combo card. So yeah, watch out for that. Sure, and then obviously in limited, this card's fine. Just 2/2 makes the mana not great, but fine. Harrygast, Erupting Null Kite. 9 mana for a 6/6, has Emerge, red 6. Emerge means you can sacrifice a creature and then pay the difference in mana from that creature's cost and the Emerge cost to play the spell. So if I have a Goblin Ringleader in play I can cast this thing for sacrificing Ringleader and paying a red in 3. Whenever you cast this spell, you may exile your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. Flying. Each creature spell you cast has emerge. The emerge cost equal to the mana cost. I don't know what you do with this card. Honestly, it's big. You know, drawing 3 cards is kind of cool. But I don't know what you're emerging it off of. I don't know if you're casting it for 9. I don't know what deck would want a card like this. Just a really weird card that's obviously powerful, but I'm sorry, I apologize. It reduces the cost, not pays the cost. There's some other ability that uses the actual cost, but you cannot, for example, sack a Bogarden Hellkite and cast this for free. It is only reduced by Colorless. I apologize, you're correct. So, just a weird card. You know, obviously a Bombin Limited. Card's huge. I could see this card seeing play somewhere. I just don't know where. And they banned Fury, which is the biggest creature you would sacrifice to it. So, yeah, maybe it's Offering I'm thinking of. But, yeah, I don't know. Good limited card. Not sure. It that heralds the end. 2 mana 4, 2/2. Eldrazi Drone Lord. Again, this is sort of like the 6th color in the set. You know, where if you're not playing colors, you can't play this card early. But it's obviously pretty powerful. Colorless spells you cast the mana value 7 or greater, cost 1 less to cast. And then also an Anthem for your colorless creatures. Cool card. Good limited card. Maybe an outside shot versus like an Eldrazi aggro deck, possibly, with, you know, Thought-Knot Seer and Eldrazi Temple and stuff like that. Playing this card on turn 1 is kind of cool. And maybe that makes that set 7 drop playable too. I'm not sure. But kind of a cool card. Kozilek's Command. This is a colorless entry into the command cycle. Colorless X, Kindred Instant Eldrazi. It's an instant, it's important to know. Choose 2. Make X spawns. Scry X, then draw. Exile target creature mana value X or less. And exile X cards from graveyards. I don't know who would play this card. Like, you know, realistically, like I don't know. It's kind of cool. You know, drawing cards fine, killing a thing is fine. You know, I guess if you're like pure colorless, this card's okay, but like you're not really getting much value out of it. You can cast it off Eldrazi Temple, which is kind of gas, so that's kind of sweet. It is an Eldrazi, but I don't know. Really weird card, really hard to parse. Kind of hard to cast limited too at double colorless, but pretty powerful. I don't know. It's a weird one. Kozilek proper, the Broken Reality. 9 mana Eldrazi. Whenever you cast this spell, up to 2 target players each manifest 2 cards from their hand. Each card manifested this way. Sorry, for each card manifested this way, you draw a card. So, effectively just like a super Grave Titan that will also Mind Rot them. Very, very powerful effect, right? You steal 2 cards from their hand, you manifest them. You draw cards for, you manifest. Draw some cards, make some tokens. Very, very powerful. You know, it is 9 mana, obviously, with a very, very powerful effect. And it pumps all your colorless cards by +3/+2. So, really, really powerful. You know, like, definitely a house. That being said, is it playable? I don't know, honestly. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Card's busted if you can cast it. And limited is obviously busted. I think it's very castable in the blue-green decks. I think that maybe if there's a way to build like an Eldrazi Temple sort of deck and kind of ramp this thing out, that's like reasonable. But yeah, each player manifests 2 cards. So you get 4 2/2s that are also 5 4s, which is pretty crazy. So card's pretty busto, pretty powerful card. Is it the best Eldrazi Titan? I'm not sure. Better than Emrakul, it's for sure. Next up is Null Elemental Blast. Just like a cool, cute sideboard card. Counters destroys multicolored cards. Kind of cute against Scion of Draco. One colorless mana. Interesting. Null Drifter. Get it. 7 mana for a 4/4. Cast a spell, draw 2 cards. Flying, Annihilator 1, evoke. Cool card. Obviously cool, you can blink this card somehow or whatever. Feels like it's probably not good enough for Constructed. But is a 7 mana card, which can matter. I think Invoking is kind of cool also. Kind of sweet. You can't blink it. That's correct. It's a cast trigger, but also cool with Dress Down. That is true as well. So if you put end step Dress Down, you can end step Dress Down, untap, evoke this. and you'll get the 2 cards and the flyer, which is sick. So, a bonkers limited card, too. Phenomenal limited card. Next up is Twisted Riddlekeeper, which is 8 mana 5/5. It can also emerge for a colorless, a blue, and 5. Whenever you cast a spell, tap up to target permanents, put a stun counter on each of them as flying. Great limited card. Just a great card to build into. You know, you can sack your freaking Serum Visionary or whatever, cast it for cheap, tap 2 things, buy time to play your bigger things. Cool card. Ulamog the Defiler. The third of the Eldrazi trio. The one that everyone's super excited about. I have no award for this card. 10 mana for a 7/7. When you cast a spell, target opponent exiles half their library rounded up, which is not like particularly relevant usually. Ward sack 2 permanents, very, very good. It EDBs with counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among cards in exile. So, assumedly, maybe 5, 6, 7 if you're exiling your own cards too. And then it has Annihilator X, where X is the number of counters on it. So, say it's 6. So we have a 13/13 Annihilator 6 Ward sack 2 permanents. That is very powerful. Don't get me wrong. But at that stage in the game, your opponent is able to like, all right, just freaking kill this thing. I'll sack 2 permanents, whatever. It's fine, you know? So this card is very powerful. Don't get me wrong. But I think that, I don't know. I think that Kozilek might be better. But I'm not sure, honestly. This card has to actually attack. You also might cast this card, just die on the backswing or whatever. This card can be used with haste. If you have to give somebody to give it haste, or even like Goro's Vengeance, because there's no cast trigger here that actually matters. The important parts are the entering the battlefield counters on it and the Annihilator. So it does work pretty well with Goro's Vengeance, but yeah, very, very powerful card. Don't get me wrong. I think this card's very, very powerful, but I think it's a little overstated, honestly. Warp Tusker, 7 mana for a 6/8 reach. Cast, cycle it, get a token. Cycling, again, just another card for the blue-green Eldrazi ramp decks limited. Fine card. Wastscape Battle Mage. Pretty fun to see a colorless Battle Mage. 10 mana for a 2/2, kicker green or blue 1. Green kicker will disenchant, and the blue 1 kicker will bounce creature. If you're blue-green ramp, Eldrazi stuff, card's great. Simple as that. Now I come to our artifacts. We have Disruptor Flute, 2 mana for a artifact with flash. EDB, choose a card name. Spells of a name cost more to cast, and you can't use abilities with the name, so good against the One Ring and stuff like that too. Kind of like a sideboardy particular card. Kind of narrow, honestly, but I don't know. Obviously not a card for limited. Constructed, probably in niche applications. Then we have the Medallions. A 5-spot of reprints from Tempest with varying power levels. So each Medallion is a 2-mana artifact that makes the cards of a certain color cost 1 less. These cards have a tournament pedigree big time. Sapphire Medallion was a big combo card back in the day with cards like Cloud of Fairies. Kind of like a better Insignet, honestly, which is sweet. Because they make all your spells cheaper, obviously. And Ruben Medallion can be a big deal in Storm decks, making your rituals cost less. That can be a big deal also. So, really, really awesome. Cards, cool to see these in Modern. Definitely a home for these you play, for sure. And probably not, a huge deal, but really, really cool stuff. Isle of the False Gods is next to it for a Kindred Artifact Eldrazi. 2 mana tap it, make a spawn token. Whenever another Eldrazi you control dies, put a counter on this. As long as there's 8 or more counters on it, it's a 0/0 creature with Annihilator 2. Kind of cool, right? So, like, make spawn tokens, and it gets big. Mostly a limited card. Make a bunch of Scions, cast big things, make a big thing, Annihilator 2. Kind of cool. Cool art, cool fun card. Just a limited card. Junk Diver. Combo players rejoice, right? An old reprint from Urza's Legacy. 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer. Whenever it dies, return an artifact card to your hand. If you have multiples of these, you can go infinite combo stuff. Again, more unbounded combo stuff. Cool, I guess. Not playable and limited. Solar Transformer. This is a big one, folks.
Yeah.
2 mana rock. EDB tapped. EDB get 3 energy. Tap for a colorless. Pay an energy at a mana of any color. This is a big deal. If there's going to be an energy deck in Modern or Historic or whatever else, this is it. right? Mana Rock, add 3, and don't really need to use it either. That's awesome. Very, very powerful card if you're doing energy stuff. Great limited card also. Obviously requires there to be a playable energy deck, but if there is, this card's dope. Really, really cool. Urza Incubator. Speaking of combos with that other card, right? 3 mana for an artifact, old reprint. EDB, choose a creature type, and those creatures cost 2 less to cast. If you choose Construct or whatever it is for Mirror Retriever, you can loop those infinitely, more combo stuff, yada, yada, yada. Unplayable and constructed. Vexing Bauble's a big one here, folks. 1 mana for an artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana is meant to cast it, counter that spell.
Get off my plate.
Pitch spells. Free Mirror Enforcers. Whatever else it might be. No. Cascading into Rhinos. Sorry, not today, right? Pay 1, sack it, draw a card. This card's a monster, right? A main deck card with Urza Saga in your deck. Great sideboard card. Card's huge. Huge sideboard card for Modern. One of the most impactful cards in the set, honestly, probably. It won't be in every deck, obviously, but this is a kind of insane tool to have access to against Cascade and everything else. Winter Moon. One of the cards that's pre-banned in Historic. It's mana for an artifact. Players can't untap more than 1 non-basic during the untap step. This is a pretty interesting card, right? So, if you're just playing mono red, and you just slam down Winter Moon, it's just basically just a Winter Orb against decks playing almost all non-basics. Very, very powerful card. Question is there a deck that can play this card effectively? And obviously you can still fetch basics too. So, I don't know. Definitely a cool card. I don't know exactly if it's good enough or what decks would want it, but I love Winter Orbs. I'm all about it. Not a draft card, obviously, but pretty cool. Warrant Power Stone, another new to Modern card. The fixed version of Soul Ring.
Still a piece of garbage.
Saw play back in the day and extended and stuff, but like probably not good enough for Modern, but that's cool. Deserted Temple, also not a very good card. Colorless land, an untap a land. It's cute. Another weird old reprint, but not much else. Don't play this card in most things. Nesting Grounds is a cool reprint. It's a colorless land, so you pay 1. You can move a counter from one permanent to another. Kind of a cute, maybe move saga counters or whatever else you can move. You can keep your saga around by moving the counter off it every time. Kind of cool as well. So fun commandery card that can do some weird stuff for sure. There are those dice bag decks, whatever. Proliferate sort of decks. Kind of cool. It's a cool card. Cool, fun card. Probably won't do too much, but pretty sweet. And then in limited, this card's a big deal in the modified decks. Being able to move counters around is huge. It's a sorcery, but you still trigger things. It's kind of nice. Phyrexian Tower. Hell yeah, Phyrexian Tower. Surprised this card wasn't in Modern yet, honestly. Phyrexian Tower is awesome. Just an insane card. Any line taps for 2 is insane. And this does that pretty easily. Sack creature, add black. Plays insane with, Gravecrawler, Citrus Supplier, all sorts of things. Card's awesome. Phyrexian Tower is the stones. This card has been in Historic for a while and seen a lot of play there also. Card's great. In Limited, not as much. It's funny how this card might be a waste in Limited for some people. But yeah, really, really awesome card. Just love it. Good shit. And bad news for all you folks who hate Grief. You can now Grief on turn 1 and trigger up a stack, sacrifice it for 2 black, and cast a 2-drop on turn 1. Awesome card. Card's great. As someone who's played a lot of Historic, which card's been legal for a long time, card's really, really good. Very, very powerful card. Up next is Ugin's Labyrinth. Did I not, I called Emrakul a trap card. Oh, wow. All right. Okay, well, we're going to give a bit of a somewhat trap award to this card also, Ugin's Labyrinth. This is one of the most hyped cards in the entire set. I don't know why to give a trap card to this, honestly. I have a very strong opinion of this card. I'm not even sure about Emrakul. But I think this card is massively overrated. All right. 2 mana on turn 1 is insane, as we just talked about with Phyrexian Tower. The problem is, I think that putting this card in your deck basically ruins your deck. It seems so difficult to build a deck that will actually be functional with this card in it. having enough 7-drops, being able to still do things. You draw your this card and your 7-drop and your Chalice to Void, whatever else you want to do. That being said, it does play well with the kind of like the Mirror Enforcer, Kozilek's Unsealing, whatever that card is, that draws cards, that weird enchantment. So there's like the 7-mana MDFC card. There's a 7-mana Eldrazi that like looks at your top cards. We looked at earlier. There are certainly ways to do this card, but it seems really, really difficult. We'll see. Obviously, the first card, everyone's going to try, so we're going to find out pretty fast. But I am very, very dubious of this card. It obviously can just tap for 1, sure, but like that's not very good. So I don't know. We'll see. I think that they're also very, very careful with cards tap for 2 mana on turn 1. So I would be surprised they would print one that was like that good. But we'll see. You know, you can do some pretty crazy stuff here with Eldrazi Temple and this card, and play a bunch of 7-drops and stuff. We'll see. We'll see. I'm calling it a dud. I think this card's fine and limited. It's just a wastes, and like it could tap for 2 if you have a 7-drop in your hand, which is kind of cool. Also, it gives it the card back, which is kind of cool too. But yeah, I'm pretty low on this card, but I'm definitely trying it. Probably in multiple 10 new brews deck to find out. Urza's Cave. Land, taps for Colorless, pay 3, sack it, search library land card, put it tapped, then shuffle. Pretty cool card, right? So it's just a land that can go find any other land. That's it. No caveat. Card's kind of sweet, you know. I don't think a deck like Tron would want this card, despite the Urza's naming, because it's just like kind of slow. But this could make way for like a fully colorless Tron deck, maybe. This could be a thing for Eldrazi Temple decks. I don't know, honestly. I think this card's pretty awesome, though. The opportunity cost is super, super low. We all know that tutoring up certain lands is very, very powerful, too. So I think this card's really, really awesome. And then unlimited, it's just a waste, which is fine. Cast your stuff. So, card's sweet. Really, really cool card. Stone over wastes. I get it. Eldrazi Winter. I don't think anybody asked for this, though. And I don't know what the hell this does in any reasonable context at all. But whatever. Sure. Monumental Henge. We have a cycle of rare lands that all tap for a color and enter untapped if you control a basic land of that type. This is the white version. So again, ETB's untapped if you control planes. Big game. Tap 4 and this. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put a historic card from among them. Put it in your hand. Rest go on the bottom. This is a powerful card. You know, like a land saying tap 4, tap this, draw card is pretty awesome. Although I don't know what white deck would be interested in, historic artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. But that being said, there was some cool legend deck or something like that. This card's pretty powerful. So playing a bunch of planes. This card's almost free opportunity cost wise. So pretty cool card. Archway of Innovation is the blue version. Same templating. Blue, tap this. Next spell you cast this turn is Improvise. That seems pretty shitty. So you're tapping 2 mana to give a creature Improvise. How much mana are you actually saving at that point? You know? So, I don't know. Not very big on this one. I think it kind of stinks. Spymaster's Vault. The black version. Same templating. Black, tap. Target creature you control connives X, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. That's not bad. Conniving 1 is great, right? Just like Connive 1. Fatal Push the thing. Connive 1, my creature. Cool. Pretty cool. Obviously, there are a lot of good black lands competing for slots. So this is competing with Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Castle Lochthwain, etc., etc. I need to have enough swamps to make it come in untapped. So it is a free opportunity cost. So that being said, it might not find a home because of that. But it's a very powerful card, for sure. Very good limited, too, because you can get draw extra cards on it for your Dimir deck, which is kind of cool. The red one is probably my favorite here in Arena of Glory. Same templating. You can red tap this to exert Arena of Glory and add red, and then that can give a creature you cast haste. So, mana neutral, give a thing haste. Pretty sweet. I don't do much commander stuff here, alright? But this card is going in my Muxus commander deck, alright? So there you go. Are you happy? Are y'all happy out there? Freaking commander players. Yeah. Yeah, there are very, very few mana neutral haste enablers in Magic's history, and this is one of them. So that's pretty sweet if you're trying to do that. I guess you could split it theoretically. You could play the red on 2 different creatures to get them both haste. Sure, you could do that possibly, but that's Arena of Glory. And the green version is Shifting Woodland, which is the same templating. Has Delirium, which is harder to get, obviously. Pay 4. It becomes a copy of a permanent card in a graveyard until the end of turn. Only if you have Delirium. So, that's pretty powerful. There are plenty of powerful creatures you could want to attack with from your graveyard. That being said, this card is really, really hard to use. So while the potential is certainly very, very high, I am somewhat dubious of like being set up for. But again, opportunity cost super, super low. So very interested in this card, what it can do. Kind of a cool one. Very, very open-ended. Then we come to our some more reprints. We got Cephalid Coliseum here. Big time sleeper. This card is a serious, serious Magic card, folks. All right. This card saw a ton of play back in the day and extended, even in Legacy. And this is a blue pain land that says Threshold, blue tap sack. Target player draws 3, then discards 3. All right. So that is insane for a few reasons. One, Dredge. That's where this card saw most of its play. As a Dredge enabler, this card's wild, right? You just, bam, turn 2, I Dredge once, I have Threshold, draw 3, Dredge my whole deck, awesome. 2, targeting your opponent with a Narset in play. You can lock your opponent out. You see like a Ren 6, you can play the Coliseum every turn, upkeep, Coliseum you don't draw any cards, etc., etc. Pretty awesome, right? So, very, very powerful card. You can do many, many powerful things. Just good. Just a good card, I'll tell you. So, kind of card, easy card for Zoomers to overlook, but very, very powerful card. And then limited, it's fine. Obviously kind of cool in the draw card deck, but there you go. Barbarian Ring returns. Other cards saw a lot of play back in the day in burn decks. A little worse now, I think, but kind of cool is like Colorless Source can kill a pro-red creature out of your burn deck. Kind of sweet. Just, a little bit of insurance. Put a little power into your lands. Kind of cool. Bountiful Landscape. Folks. Somehow there are 10 of these in this set. There are 10 sack lands. They all tap for colorless. And they sack to search for one of 3 types. This is a teamer one. All the wedges and shards are included. And then it also cycles for those colors as well. These are wastes that are also fetch lands, which is pretty insane. Because Evolving Wilds kind of cards are just good and limited anyway. This just comes in untapped, which is wild. So there are 10 wastes in the common slot that also fix your mana. Very interesting though, because like that's great art, really cool art. There's the Esper version, because this doesn't really feel like a very multicolory set. The colors kind of do what they want to do in their pairs. There's definitely crossover in like the Jeskai energy space, and then in the Abzan modified space. But aside from that, like, you don't want to splash a white card in your artifact stack, or like a green card, a red card in your Eldrazi deck, maybe. I don't, maybe you don't, I don't know. But the whole set is here. They all have really cool art. They're going to see a lot of these in drafts. So these are your wastes and, of course, your color lands. If you're playing Eldrazi, these are basically 4 color lands. It's pretty insane. Really cool art on these things. Holy shit. Art's insane on these. But yeah, going to be huge for limited, obviously. There's a lot of them. Take up a lot of slots, too, unfortunately. But yeah, Bombin Common for sure. These are a big, big deal for colorless decks, mana fixing, just really, really overpowered common fixing lands for sure. And then of course you get your fetch lands. Nothing really crazy here. These are legal in all the formats they're already legal in. Just reprints. They're good. They're good and limited. Y'all know what fetch lands are, right? I don't need to explain these to you. So there you go. New art. New art's kind of cool. I like old art. Whatever. That's those. And that's it. Holy shit, we're done. Best in show for Colorless Phyrexian Tower. Sleeper card, Cephalid Coliseum. Trap card, Emrakul, World Anew with a little bit of a side note there for the Eldrazi land, whatever it's called. Friggin' Ugin's Labyrinth. And then our Bombin Common is the 10 tri-colored Terrawolf Expanses. And that's it, folks. We did it. I'm going to do a last section on the bonus sheet stuff, but that's a little extra. So we'll see that. Boom, there it is. All right, folks. Check out 10 New Brews tomorrow and Friday. Awesome. Check out Bronze Mythic Tuesday, June 11th. Awesome. Check out everything on YouTube. They're all up there. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, watching all the videos. You missed anything, it's all up there. It's obviously a very, very long, set review. We've been live for over 6 hours, so check it all out. Support the content. Like, comment, subscribe. I love y'all. I'll see y'all for 10 new brews, all right? It's my birthday tomorrow. Everyone show up.